It's often hard to separate fact from fiction when people talk about the mysteries of ancient Egypt, but one thing is sure, much is still unknown about the mummy of Tutankhamun. Compared to the other royal mummies, it's indeed unusual in several ways. Even though we know that Tutankhamun died unexpectedly sometime between the ages of 18 and 20, his sudden death doesn't explain the odd discoveries on his mummy. Corpses were mummified so that they would not rot. Since internal organs break down quickly after a person dies, they had to be removed as soon as possible. To do so, embalmers used a sharp stone or knife to cut an opening in either one of the two specific areas, the lower belly or the abdomen. By making an incision that was 10-20 centimeters long, embalmers could feed an end and then a arm all the way up to the elbow to pull out the organs. The incision on Tutankhamun's body did not follow the usual protocol because it was horizontal instead of vertical. Ancient Egyptians considered it important for the heart to remain in the body, as this was the only way they could prove to Osiris, the god of the underworld, that they have behaved well during the time on earth. With it, they could enter his kingdom. During the mummification process, when embalmers removed organs from a corpse so that it would not rot from the inside, they sometimes ended up pulling out the heart as well by accident. This is exactly what happened to Ramses II. In his case, his heart was mummified and put back inside his chest. Why Tutankhamun no longer had his heart remains a mystery. Before royal mummies were wrapped up in strips of fabric, their arms were crossed over the chest. The eka, or crock, was then placed in one end and the flywicks in the other end. These objects were symbols of a pharaoh's power. In this position, pharaohs looked like Osiris, who before he became the god of the dead was the second king of Egypt. Take for example the mummy of another pharaoh, Merimta. It's obvious that his hands were originally closed over something, but like most pharaohs, his mummy was attacked by tomb raiders. They robbed his precious symbol of power, which were cast in precious metals. Tutankhamun's position, with arm crossed horizontally over his chest, is completely different from other pharaohs and shows that no royal emblems were placed in his hands. When embalmers removed the brain through the nose, a very strange method I will get back to in another episode, sometimes they would pour black resin into the left nostril they used to remove the brain, and the resin would set when it settled in the back of the skull. This is something very easy to spot in X-rays. In Tutankhamun's case, the embalmers did this in two stages. First, they poured in the black resin the traditional way, then, for some mysterious reason, they turned the king's mummy upside down, holding him by the legs, and poured resin again into his skull. The purpose of mummification was to prevent a corpse from being reduced to a skeleton by preserving the skin and physical appearance close to what the deceased looked like when he was alive. However, when you look at Tutankhamun's mummy, the bones of his arms and legs can clearly be seen. During his time, mummies were often coated in black resin, which was a mixture of bitumen, resin and beeswax. This was done to form a shell that would keep away necrophagous insects, meaning insects that feed on the dead flesh. While this mixture has to be heated at high temperatures for it to be fluid, embalmers had to make sure that it was not too hot or it could burn the skin of a deceased. This was what happened to poor Tutankhamun, whose flesh endured the intense heat of burning black resin. On top of that, the fact that the discoverer of a tomb, Howard Carter, exposed the mummy in its coffin to an outdoor temperature of 65 degrees in direct sunlight also played a part in charring the mummy's flesh. All these strange things about a royal mummy make us wonder, did Tutankhamun die in a place that did not have embalmers experiments in mummifying royal bodies? Why were such unusual choices made? Why was he denied the right to hold any royal emblems? Maybe one day we will find the answers.